Play the right song.
Can you do me one favor?
Yeah.
Could you start that over?
Yeah.
Hold on before you start that.
Okay.
Go ahead. I forgot all about that. That is so cool. This and good morning, everybody. So we coming in Christopher Tracy style sequel where he lived, and he comes in. Are you ready, D'Angelo?
I'm ready.
Tricky, my boy. Our world. Out.
Good morning. Yeah. Yes, Pamela. What's up, Nick? It is morning time.
You almost hear that this could have been a song.
What you say? Say it again. What did you just say?
It's gonna get lit in here. Whoa. That'd have been late print, early the later prints. He probably would have thrown in the slang with the kids be singing. Oh, this was or this reminds me of grandmother, yeah.
Yes. I love this song.
Now you can't not hear that. It's lit in here. That'll be the next album by the Estate. It's lit in here. They'll be trying to tell us he did record that back then. Like, he'd be early, but was he that early? I don't know. Anyway. All right, here's the part where you get live around here. Live around here.
Good morning, TP. I'm really digging this song. Uh-oh. Okay. Good morning, Clara.
Good morning.
Good morning, JD. We are feeling the vibes.
Hey.
Yes, we have some folks on the way to the south of France.
That's right.
I wish I could have joined them, but my money wasn't right.
That's the other version. And my money wasn't right. Oh, Lord. All right.
Good morning, Purple Hippies. ATL is always in the house. Barbara White.
Wow.
Yeah, I love this song. All right. Yes, the checking and the savings, Rodney. Money ain't right. Good morning, Kareem. Kareem Austin. Love that name. Sometimes it's kind of bad starting off with music you love because I just can't pay attention. I'm just in the music.
Oh, no. Caught up in the moment.
Yeah. Good morning, Myron.
What's up, Myron?
Good morning, C. Lee. And everybody else that I didn't name. And I got to give a special shout out to Cassandra Bradley, representing the ATL, being the first in the chat.
Oh,
and
nice.
then number 2 was April from Tampa. Got a little salsa going on. This is funny, Kim. Ain't no point in checking the savings, Rodney. All right, so let's get into the housekeeping if we can get away from this song. But it's so silky smooth. Okay. It's getting lit. Okay. Oh, that's man, that lead line.
Eric Leeds, man.
Eric Leeds. Welcome, Realign the DJ. All right. I'm going to try to tear my way from this song, but I really can't. We are week 27 of What Did Prince Do This Week? The estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. We're going week to week, not date to date. You can find the detailed schedule at bit.ly/Prince Book Club. Okay, it's finally fading out so I can concentrate. But let's let it fade on out. All right, welcome, Teal. Love your name. Salutations. And you do not need the expanded edition. Where my book at? But the schedule is based on it. Ratcha. Yep. Let me do it. Yep, there you go. That's what we're reading, because everybody be asking what we're reading. This is what we're reading. And just to get you guys ready, what page we're going to be reading today is pages 100 to 101. So if you want to turn there so you don't have to do that at the last minute, you can do that right now as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. So where are these archived if you need to catch up? Because we are at week 27 of What Did Prince Do This Week? Maybe you need to start off at number 1. You can find these archived on my YouTube channel, which is at Polish Solid, as well as Michael Dean's YouTube channel, which is at mdean. And then we have hashtag, if you ever want to talk to us on the social medias with the hashtag WDPDTW. But I don't know where folks are nowadays. Are you on Spiel? Are you on Threads, Michael Dean? Where are you going? Are you staying? Are you quitting? What's going on with your social
I'm actually on the Threads. I signed up for Threads. So
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how about yourself?
I signed up for them, but I don't check them.
Right.
I'm just trying to see where the people are going to go. And then there's rumblings about Twitter might go bankrupt. I don't know if that's a rumor or if that's real and all that kind of crazy stuff. What's up, Melvin Rush II?
Melvin, what's going on?
Yes, I don't know why I got so much energy, because I'm excited about week 27. I don't know if you guys are going to be excited about what we're going to talk about today, but I'm excited. So, because we're going to go down some rabbit holes, and I know some of you guys don't like rabbit holes. So that's going to be towards the end of the show. So you guys can just go somewhere else if you don't want to deal with the rabbit holes, because we're going to be talking about stuff we already talked about. We're going to do a deeper dive into it. So yeah, I'm very excited. Welcome, Vanessa.
Tanja.
Tanja says it's too much. I'm on both. That's pretty much me. It's too much, but I'm on both. Good afternoon, Prince. I don't want to mess your name up, so thank you. And I'm with Kim. I'm still on Twitter till the wheels fall off. I love actually Twitter's interface. I've never liked Instagram's interface. It irks me that you can't put a link in your posts and make sense to me. I don't understand. We're in the internet. It's like the hyperlink. It's the whole point of the internet. And you can't do it still in 2023 on Twitter. Don't get it. And let's see. Time just says Spill. I want to like, but I'm Team Android. So I'm thinking that Spill is only on for the Mac OS folks. I didn't realize that. Thank you for schooling me. Yes, Lee. Just most social media for me to tell folks that I'm not on. You got it. I want to be like you one day. What's up, Javon Angel? Welcome. Happy Catterday from Julie. Excited to be here. Thank you, Purple Cat Confetti. Love that.
Catterday. I've never heard that. That's the kind of thing.
Yeah, Catterday. Prince, I almost said Malik, but I wasn't sure. So thank you so much for schooling me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Tracy, for popping in.
What's up, Tracy?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're at the vet. And Kim, I was on Twitter since day one. It is a hardcore to cut, indeed. Not because Twitter, it's because I love the interface. It took me about a year to get used to Twitter, but once I understood and got it, I love the interface. So,
I'm still on Black Planet.
I was on Black Planet. I don't even remember my handle on Black Planet. I don't even know if I had a handle. I was on Black Planet. That was so long ago, Michael Dean. What up, BClicks09? All right. Okay. So I was supposed to play the last song on Times Square, which is Once Upon a Time. I'm not even going to play it for you because it was going to bring us so down. And I just don't like being down, especially in the morning. And I just couldn't play it. So I was like, what am I going to play now? Bobby, I don't know. So what I decided to do was go to the next album on Paisley Park Records by Eric Leeds called Things Left Unsaid from 1993. And this is not the first song, but this is the song that I love, if you hadn't noticed, off of Things Left Unsaid. So I wanted to continue with Eric Leeds. And this is where we went.
Love that cover, the photo, Eric.
Yes.
Suited. It's like, where they at? He like, where they at?
And the lady in the background, like the bar vibe. It's so cool. I'm glad you said that because one of my slides, I really wanted to give a shout out to the art direction. I don't know who these people are, but I just wanted to say their names because this is like one of the coolest covers, and just they keep the vibe on the inside. If you have the inner sleeve, you get a little bit of the inner sleeve there down there with the credits. So we got art direction by Linda Cobb, we got design by Michael Dill, and we got photography by Roberto Espinosa. So we got to give some shout outs to these peeps because it's one of the coolest covers ever. And Eric Leeds is looking so cool. So let's talk about Aguadilla. Now it says composed by Eric Leeds and Prince. We're going to talk about that a little bit because Prince technically didn't compose this, but it interpolated something off of The Family. So that's kind of how Prince came in. But we're going to talk about who the players are on this track because it is like on fire like Mariah. We got alto, tenor, and baritone saxophones, flute, synthesizers by Eric Leeds. We got piano by Ricky Peterson. Everybody in their mama should know who Ricky Peterson is. Who Ricky Peterson is, Michael Dean?
St. Paul's brother.
There you go. St. Paul.
On many of Prince. I Hate You, I believe.
Yeah. He's on a lot of Prince stuff. So I know there's some people out there be saying, why y'all talking about these folks? They ain't connected to Prince. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. There you go.
Where are they saying I say I'm not on the streets. I need to what's the word on the street because you already got. I'm clapping back this week, Mike. I'm going. Yeah,
we've been hearing this. Like, why are we talking about these folks? What did Prince do this week? Because it's a book club, and we can do whatever we want. Because we be conversating. That's what we be doing. All right. So
conversating. That's what we've been doing.
That's what we've been doing.
Okay.
Welcome the Adult Symphony channel. All right. So Ricky Peterson on piano, Christopher Walker on bass, Dennis Chambers on drums, Larry Frantangelo still rocking with Eric Leeds, congas, timbales, percussion. We should know who Larry Frantangelo is now. If not, you need to go back and watch the series all the way through from week number 1. Lyndon Achi still the drum, Charlie Sepulveda. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I tried. Trumpet, Brian Lunch, trumpet, Conrad Herwing, trumpet, arranged by Eric Leeds. Beautiful, beautiful song.
Nice.
If you don't have this record, you want to go get it. Okay, so let's talk about why it says composed by Eric Leeds and Prince. If you go to Prince Vault, which everybody and their mama should know about Prince Vault. If you don't know about Prince Vault, stop the stream, go to Prince Vault right now, start reading, because Prince Vault is really important. And so you will notice at the very bottom, it says, phrases from the track were later used by Eric Leeds on his track, Aguadilla, on his 1993 album, Things Left Unsaid, and co-writing credit was given to Prince as a result. But Prince was not directly involved in the track.
I didn't know this. It's interesting.
Yeah. So that's what we do on the book club. We be broadening our minds, expanding our music knowledge, doing some, some deeper dives. That's what we do here. So hopefully
I'm detecting it. Yeah, you are definitely a lot more energetic, and I think I know where this is coming from.
It's coming from body heat. That's where it's coming from.
I'm sensing a little bit of this kiki energy that's been floating through the nest, but that's cool. That's cool.
I have this energy. I have been watching James Brown all morning live from the Monterey Jazz Festival. Yes, that's where all this energy. So I'm like psyched. I'm just like psyched. Yes, I feel good. So if you want to feel like me, you don't need no coffee. Okay. You don't need no substances. You just need some live James Brown, and it can get your energy level up.
Gotcha. That's how we do it. Or some purple music.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. All right.
Love it.
Actually, I haven't really had my coffee this morning. I had my James Brown. It's all about music. Music is what makes me excited. So let's see what Just Rules. Welcome. I love the family's debut and only release. First heard Desire on that album. That's my jam. Thank you, Just Rules, for pointing that out. So on this this page from Prince Vault, so Aguadilla, which we just listened to, had some lines from Desire, which is from the family's 1985 self-titled debut. Yes. Yes. Times Square is a few $100s on Discogs. Well, hopefully you can find it somewhere that's not so expensive. Everybody's Prince collection should have Times Square in it, because as far as I'm concerned, it is Prince and Eric Leeds. And hopefully, if you've been watching, you'll understand why I say that. And for me, it is my Madhouse 24. So, and Tanja's recognizing that the family, and Tanja is also one of, I guess, Tanja's favorite albums as well. And Melvin, thank you so much. James Brown, always on the one.
That's right.
That's right. And Raywin is also saying that's my favorite family album.
What's up, Raywin?
That's my favorite. All right. So, all right. We talked about that. So let's get into week 27. We're not going to stay in week 27 very long because look at there. Look at that.
That's rare.
The first time we have seen.
He was in rare form right there.
This is super rare. Okay. But what we are going to do is we're going to read the introduction to July 1983 in Dwayne's book. Thank you, Eric Rogers. Thank you for being here. Times Squared, according to Eric Leeds, was the next Madhouse album. Thank you so much, Eric. Hope you are well.
Paisley 5 and dime.
Paisley 5 and dime up in the house. Yes, it is. All right. So, I'm going to say what I say every single week. Whenever I see that nothing has gone on, and this is just like nothing has gone on, according to the book, something's had to have gone on. So this is where we need more research and all of that. I'll try to come down from you guys, but it's really hard because watching.
No, stay on the one.
My Kiki.
Maceo.
All right. So, yes, definitely a vault classic. Thank you so much, Eric. Really do appreciate that. And let's see what C. Lee talking about. Let the funk flow through you into the computer screen, because funk not only moves, but removes anything that ills us. And I'm ready for a funky healing. That's right. That is right. That's why they're trying to take the funk out the music. All right. So, Michael Dean, do you want to get started? And then when you get tired, because I don't know if I should be reading with all my energy. And
All
when
right.
you get tired, I will take over.
Okay. July 1983. During the summer, Prince was scheduled to meet Albert Magnolia to discuss the possibility of. Say it again.
Magnoli,
my bad. Albert Magnoli to discuss the possibility of directing the movie. Magnoli had recently graduated from film school at the University of Southern California, and while he was young and energetic and had experience as an editor, he never directed a feature-length film, so the risk was high. In addition, Magnoli's knowledge of Prince was limited. So before he traveled to Minneapolis for a meeting, he asked Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fargnoli. Man, they got the very similar names. For every, this is interesting, for every video they had on Prince, including concert footage and music videos, and Magnoli immersed himself. While watching the tapes, he noticed a trend. I began to realize, oh, Prince is jumping from one era to another within a year, which is rare. Okay, the next jump is going to be even larger because that's what the film will do. That's what I got on the plane to Minneapolis the next day. The director's insight into Prince's expanded during an unexpected first encounter while Magnoli was sitting in the hotel lobby in Minneapolis waiting for their initial meeting. Here we go. There was a big moment. There was a big moment for me to see Prince when he didn't know I was in the room. So he comes out the elevator, and it's precisely 12 midnight, and he walks across right in front of me, right to left, because he's looking toward the door. That's where his manager is. He doesn't know I am sitting off to the side. So I was able to observe him for the whole length of that walk. And I was able to absorb from that enormous amount of vulnerability, an enormous amount of pain. And that's where I came up with the whole idea of this conflict between father and son, and that the father had stopped writing and was burying his music, and was even saying that he doesn't even write anymore. I don't want to let you take it from there.
All right, I will take it. When Magnoli was asked about his thoughts on the movie, he told Prince that he felt the original script sucked and proceeded to pitch his own version of the movie. Prince agreed and granted the young filmmaker access to his band, his personal life, and his archive of music to help shape the project. Magnoli recalls he had this little studio in the basement of his suburban home at the time, and he essentially had 100 songs, or whatever the number was, that he had written and produced, created, and done either by himself or with other people in the group or whatever. Very little of it was a revolution. Most of it was music he had prior to that, and we started listening to songs, and I liked what I heard. And I immediately said to him, we're not going to be able to sit here and listen to 100 songs, obviously. And this is Dwayne writing. Prince gave him a copy of the songs as well as the lyric sheets to help him determine which ones would be needed for the movie and the album. We had agreed that it can't be a double album, and everybody should know why it can't be a double album. It can't be a double album because the previous album was 1999. Welcome, Anil. Let's see what Anil's talking about. I feel like this set the template of Prince singing as important to give a shot to folks who had never done something like write a script before. You are absolutely correct, Anil. As we know, Prince always liked to work with people who were not burdened with a lot of, preconceived notions of how things should be. He wanted people who were, new to the game so that, they have fresh ideas and all of that jazz. I hope you're well, Anil. It's so great to have you here. All right. So let me go back. So I left. I can't remember where I was. Okay, here we go. We had agreed that it can't be a double album, that it was going to be a 12-song album from him, maybe 4, 5, or 6 songs, whatever the number was for Morris Day and the time. And there might be a miscellaneous band or two after that. I want to be a martinaire. We're essentially talking about one 12-song album, kind of a Purple Rain soundtrack musical, whatever. But it wasn't going to be a double album thing. Now we got 3 more paragraphs to read, but I want to stop there and reflect a little bit because based on, Albert Magnoli, or I don't know if Dwayne got this from interviewing him, or if he read something that Magnoli had said previously. But it seems like Purple Rain was originally going to be given what I consider the Graffiti Bridge treatment, which is a real soundtrack. A real soundtrack usually has music from the movie, but depending on who you talk to, some people were disappointed that the Purple Rain soundtrack wasn't a true soundtrack, and that you didn't have Dez's song, you didn't have the Time songs, you didn't have Apollonia 6 on there, and all of that. Yes, exactly, Eric Rogers' Way. The Graffiti Bridge soundtrack ended up being all artists on it. So, Michael Dean, what say you? Were you okay with, it not being a proper soundtrack and you got what you got? Or were you missing, I need to be a martinaire?
The only thing in the moment of it, I probably was like, I would have wanted to hear martinaire. But I think what we got was so fascinating. Like the Purple Rain album unto itself is a headbuster. The Times album was great. There's Apollonia 6. It would have been nice if they had a version where it was all of it. But again, what we got was why a lot of people are here today. So
yeah. So I mean, in real time, it like I don't even know if I knew really what a soundtrack was. I was only 12, 13. All I knew was a new Prince album, and it was a new Time album, and there was an Apollonia 6 album. I was upset the Vanity was gone. I was really upset the Vanity was gone. But the Apollonia 6 is one of my favorite albums. It's like one of the most underrated albums in Prince's canon, in my personal opinion. That's just me. And everybody should know I call it Brenda 6 for a reason. And, like a lot of folks are on that album. Joe Jones is on that album. Sheila E. is on that album. It's a really fantastic album. So don't. Missing for me was actually Monaire. Like you couldn't get Monaire in real time on vinyl.
Right. I don't think you can get that anywhere at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think I knew necessarily what a soundtrack was. I don't think it wasn't until probably Parade where I had an idea that, a soundtrack would have all of the songs. Actually, I'll take that back. I thought soundtracks, my only frame of reference was John Williams' Star Wars, which was actually the first album I ever had. So to me, that's what a soundtrack was. To have regular songs on it, that was a foreign thing to me. So I was thinking, are they going to have like the orchestration music on here or something? But
now, speaking of Under the Cherry Moon, especially since we got folks that they're in the south of France doing the Under the Cherry Moon tour, I'm just like, I'm paying it. I definitely got FOMO, kind of. But like I said, I don't have the money. But, what really pained me about Under the Cherry Moon is I wanted the score in real time. Like, I knew what a score was. I didn't really know what a soundtrack was, but I definitely knew what a score was, and I wanted it for Parade. So that's what was missing.
Now, if they had done that and had the Prince album, and then Prince was like, "It's gonna be the Claire Fisher, and it's gonna be a man," probably would have. That'd have been my last days when that came.
Mind blown. Okay, we got a lot of stuff in the chat. Let's see. So Eric's saying, honestly, Prince wanted his name above the title of the movie, so having his album separate would align with that. Also, from a sales point of view, you get 3 albums of sales for one movie. That's a really good point, Eric. Yeah, you get 3 albums of sales for one movie. Yeah, man, right? Yep, it is a business. Des Dickerson. Okay, Scorpio saying God instrumental was definitely missing.
Well,
but you
it
got
was
the
on the B side, right?
yeah.
But I get it.
And then Michael W. It's the first time I'm able to listen live. I'm enjoying the episode and discussion. Thank you for being here, Michael. We appreciate you.
What up, Big Mike?
Yeah, I'm a little crazy today, but it's just it's blaming on James Brown. He got my spirit up. And let's see. Celia is saying, I love that we got 3 different albums in real time. I didn't think or care that all the songs from the movie should be on one album. That's a very good point. Because, perhaps if they had done a traditional soundtrack, maybe we wouldn't have gotten those 3 albums, and that would have been a travesty. But luckily, that wasn't the case. And then, hi, Ricky. Hope you are well. As much as the estate loves to push PR stuff, they may reissue a configuration of that soundtrack with all involved at some point. Yeah, that's a really interesting possibility for sure.
And that background music in Purple Rain does exist. It's out. It was a bootleg a long time ago. All of those tracks, they could throw that on there.
Yep. Because we need it all. That's what Tunch is saying.
I want it all.
Yes, and Man Ray saying Dad Zickern said he was supposed to get a solo deal with Warner Brothers around 1984, but nothing ever came of it. That would have been fantastic. Des should have gotten a solo deal with Warner Brothers. That would have been awesome. And then Sheila E., the Glamorous Life album classic 1984. That's the reason why next year I'm not calling it the Purple Rain Symposium. It is going to be the Erotic City 40 Symposium. We are celebrating 4 albums, and you just hit Raywin, the 4th album. Sheila E.'s Glamorous Life. We're going to be celebrating that as well. And then TP is saying, back in the day, I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't a true soundtrack. And yes, Modern Air was missed. It took years to get the whole song. Indeed. Yes, Road Comments need that Purple Rain score too. Ricky saying they should include the Under Cherry Moon score and the that would be fantastic. We got to have that score. Annie, you're never late to the party. You are here. That's all that counts. And Just Rules is saying Marley Marl sampled a drum scene for Under Cherry Moon for Biz Markies. This is something for the radio. And let's see.
Also, what's the LL Cool J song? The Jingling Baby.
Okay. And then Tanja says a box set with the film score and outtakes I want. Thank you so much, Eric. We really do appreciate you being here. And then, yes, so thank you to keep Jill Jones' names alive. I will say Jill Jones' name as long I'm still James. I am so in James Brown mode right now. It's not even. It's like for those of you who just joining us, I've been listening to James Brown all morning because we're gonna talk about body.
OD'd on some James this morning.
OD'd on James.
On that James pack.
I haven't done James because I watched him live. Not only did I not just I listened to him, but I also watched him.
Yeah, so, that's just like church or something.
It's like church.
It's like church.
Yeah. And what's like crazy in Body Heat, James Brown's version, he says, take it to church. I mean, that's like actually part of the song. And I was like, yeah, I'm there. I'm at church. So can you tell me where I can listen to Modern Air? So I would just say do your Googles.
Go to YouTube.
Yep.
You could immediately hear it. Just type it on YouTube.
Yep. And another person just catching the stream live and loving it. Thank you so much, Friday Music, for taking time out of your day to listen to us live. We really do appreciate it.
What's up, Friday?
What's really great about listening live is that you can interact, and be a part of the conversation. And let's see, Melvin Rush says soundtrack-wise, I guess you thought about Rocky, Uptown Saturday Night, some others, but not a one-artist pop, soul, and rock experience. Yeah, I have to really think about that. Like Superfly. Yes. Superfly is probably what I thought a soundtrack should be. And in that particular case, it's just one artist. Curtis Mayfield, just incredible. So it made sense, I guess. I didn't really question Purple Rain soundtrack being a soundtrack because I was used to Superfly as being a soundtrack. You know what I mean? Even though it's different because I don't know. Actually, Do I have my blaxploitation? Speaking of blaxploitation, I actually watched Trouble Man last night for the very first time because you can't find it on YouTube, and it's like a piss poor copy that I refuse to watch. So I actually had to buy a Blu-ray. So this is the first time in my life that I actually watched Trouble Man. Trouble Man, the soundtrack by Marvin Gaye, is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, and I have listened to that for probably 30 years without seeing the film, and I really wanted to see the film.
Yeah. How was the movie?
It was fantastic. It's actually directed by Ivan Dixon. And for those of you who don't know, Ivan Dixon was also an actor. He actually starred in another one of my favorite films called Nothing But a Man, and he co-stars with Abby Lincoln. And Abby Lincoln is, a jazz vocalist, social activist extraordinaire. And Nothing But a Man is in black and white. I can't remember the year, but it's actually based in Alabama. I was born and raised in Alabama. It's actually one of the films that I watched with my grandparents. So it's actually a film that's near and dear to me. So Ivan Dixon not only is an actor, but he also directed Trouble Man. And then I'm blanking. Oh, I think he also directed The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Yes, Ivan also directed that. So
to go back to what you were saying about having the album and never seeing the movie, I've never seen that movie either, but I know some of the songs. And just real quick, and I love that you're bringing up this old movie, those exploitation movies. Me and my son, he's 15. We watched Jackie Brown.
Yeah,
he's never seen it before, and plus, he's younger, so his frame of reference of it is just that he knows Nick Fury is in the movie, right? That's how he looked at it. But as we're watching, I'm explaining to him like the significance of Pam Grier and why this was so interesting at the time, and what the movie calls back to. And he's watching, and he's like, whoa, and tripping out. And then the music comes on. I'm telling like, yo, this is music that was from other movies and different things, but they use it here, which goes back to what I was going to say about I think it was Superfly or something. I've listened to that album for many years and had never seen the movie. Like, the album is bigger than the movie. And I wonder if some younger people coming up now, where they have probably heard some of these Prince songs, but have never seen Purple Rain, or, you just know the songs and know it's associated with some movie, but don't know the full sort of context of what it means. And I think when they get an opportunity to watch it, I was like, oh, okay. Now I understand what this song means, or why this is great. But anyway,
yeah, I mean, but like, what's probably even the case is that a lot of young people are wearing the Purple Rain T-shirts, because I see a lot of Purple Rain T-shirts.
Right. Yes.
But they probably haven't even listened to the album or seen the movie.
Right. Yeah. They just know it's something visually cool, which is like, you would see somebody wearing a T-shirt of Superfly or, the Mac or something. They may have never actually seen it, but they know that, I know that such and such references I know this is cool. So yeah, Prince is getting that. He's at that kind of thing where I know this is a cool thing, but I don't really know. I've never actually seen it myself, but I'm wearing it.
But there's hope, because because Trouble Man came out in 1972. I was 2 years old, and I'm 52. So it took
wow. You finally watched it.
I finally watched it after having the soundtrack and listening to the soundtrack for decades. And I could go into more about Trouble Man and the soundtrack in particular, but I won't, because I won't go down that rabbit hole, but I want to. All right. So Harold Pride, it's always so great to have you here.
Yeah, sexy.
All right. So the Apollonia 6 album was a shift towards a different sound for Prince, the openness of the live musicianship from women, and support of vocals also by women. This album is one of one.
Yeah, sexy.
Say that, Harold Pride. All right. Christy, you are never late. And let's see what Eric's saying. Modern Era was only sold as a 12-inch back years ago, then released on CD as part of the rare Des Dickerson set called Desrospective. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And yes, Scorpio, we definitely need those Purple Rain deleted scenes. Oh, I don't know about Prince Punch Jelly Bean. I haven't
It's
heard
in the
it.
trailer.
It's in the trailer?
Yeah, Prince turns around. Obviously Prince goes to that warehouse when they're recording. You know, he's like, I want some action. He must come there later and gets into a scuffle.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, Realign the DJ Superfly is the standard. Yes, Trouble Man is one of the best soundtracks ever recorded by Marvin Gaye. And yes, Just Rules, we got to say who Trouble Man is. Trouble Man is the actor Robert Hooks. And yes, C. Lee isn't Shaft a Man one man soundtrack by Isaac Hayes. Yes, we're bringing all the soundtracks.
I gotta put everybody on the spot real quick. In the chat, your top soundtracks. What are the best soundtrack albums?
Okay.
All the time?
Let's do top 3 if you want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, top 3. Put them in the chat. Yes. Dr. Claw, yes. Ivan Dixon also directed Spook Cassette by the Door. Yes, C. Lee. Nothing but, of course, C. Lee would know what I'm talking about. Nothing But a Man is a classic. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you watch Nothing But a Man if you haven't watched that. Yes, Curtis Mayfield. I can't talk. Mayfield was extraordinary. Yeah, we got Harold Price in the house.
What up, Claw?
Curtis Mayfield for the films. Claudine. The Claudine soundtrack is amazing with Gladys Knight and the Pips. If you never listened to the Claudine soundtrack, I'm Invisible. Like, you know, that Invisible song I love a lot. Trouble Man 40th Anniversary Expanded Soundtrack is a must-have. Say it, Tanja. And then let's see. Personally, hand down, I think Robert Hooks was better in Trouble Man as a detective than Richard Roundtree was in the Shaft films. You know, Just Rules, I actually agree with you. When I was watching it last night, it is a really good film. It has aged very well. So you get me going down the rabbit. Okay. I'm going to say this and I'll try to keep it to one sentence. I was a little disappointed and I read that something, maybe some of you guys can school me. What was going on with the soundtrack? Because the album Trouble Man with Marvin Gaye, like even the title track doesn't sound like the same mix that's on the album. So did Marvin Gaye not finish the soundtrack in time? Why does the music sound a little different? Does anybody know? If you could let me know, I'd really appreciate it. And let's see. Did Dolomite have a soundtrack? I'm sure he did.
That's a good question.
I think, yeah, let's do our collection.
I'm seeing some great picks in here.
Yeah, so Ricky got the Mac, Claudine, Sparkle. Sparkle is also Curtis Mayfield. Claudine is also Curtis Mayfield. Why am I blanking on the Mac? I should know who.
Willie Hutch.
Willie Hutch, that's right. Willie Hutch. Willie Hutch also did some
really
good
out too, right there.
Yeah, it is. And let's see. JD Washington, since you're on your James Brown, yes, we're going to talk about Mr. Dynamite. Yes, because I even got in the slideshow, JD. So we're going to come back to Mr. Dynamite because you don't want me to go off the rails right now because I'm already off the rails. So we need to wait till we get to that part in the slideshow. And let's see. Yes, you definitely see the Purple Rain t-shirt in the wild. Yes, Christy, I love this. You can put on the Purple Rain soundtrack and it's a movie experience in and of itself. Kim, yep, I know some 30-year-olds that haven't seen Purple Rain but heard the song. This is a great question, Myron. What song was the Revolution playing while rehearsing was going on and Prince walked in? Was it Computer Blue, Just Faster? You know the part where, you know.
It was Computer Blue.
Yeah. And then, let's see.
You consider Sign of Times soundtrack? No.
Let's see. So Melvin says, under Cherry Moon, some would say Parade was a bigger deal. Are you saying that I think of what you're saying is that the Parade soundtrack was bigger than the film? For most people, yes, but not for me, because Under the Cherry Moon is my favorite Prince film. And I won't go into why, but maybe one day. Let's see. Lee, when I see a young person wearing a Purple Rain t-shirt, I think about Angela Davis saying that she didn't want her work and legacy to be minimized to an afro on a t-shirt. Yeah, I hear you. But the thing is, visibility is important. And, maybe by seeing those shirts, it will make them want to see the film or listen to the soundtrack at some point in their life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major motion picture blockbuster in the film world. That's something different,
Yeah.
A movie poster, essentially.
Yeah. And Eric's saying, and per Jelly Bean, Prince really did hit him on accident, but the scene was ended quickly. So per Jelly Bean, thank you, Eric. Prince really did hit him. Okay. Let's see. So Just Ruse Superfly. Yes, T plays it cool. It's one of the coldest grooves ever.
It is.
Claudine is coming up time and time again. So if you haven't listened to Claudine, this should let you know maybe you should listen to Claudine. Just Rules is saying Superfly, the Mac Shaft. Shaft, everybody should know, is Isaac Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Friday Car Wash, if I remember correctly, Car Wash was like a proper soundtrack, meaning there were multiple artists.
Different artists.
Mm-hmm. Different artists and stuff. And with different producers, right? It wasn't produced by the same person. I don't know. But
that I'm not sure about.
Raymond.
Crush Groove. Yeah.
Moving. I wish I had my Crush Grooving button.
Man.
Yes. Rain and Madonna Into the Groove from Desperately Seeking Susan.
One man Curtis Blow. If I rule the world. Oh, don't start. Let me just.
Please consider adding 3 The Hard Way soundtrack with the impressions. I got to listen to that. I don't think I've seen 3 The Hard Way, and I don't think I've heard that soundtrack. So far, this is the only one I haven't heard of, and I need to go check it out. So, yes, the Mac is Willie Hutch. We want to keep saying Willie Hutch because Willie Hutch should be more talked about more. Myron Boomerang.
Yeah.
I love that that instrumental when Eddie Murphy is in front of all of those video monitors, and it's a Marcus Miller soundtrack. It's like doom, 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 doom. I can't do it, but if you know what I'm talking about, I love that. I could put that on loop because I found that someone had looped it on SoundCloud or something. It's one of my favorite tracks of all time. So Boomerang. I don't remember the Dead President's soundtrack, but
it's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It had a lot of different, it had classic artists, Sly.
Yeah.
It was a whole bunch of Al Green song on there. Yeah. It was all kind of stuff.
It kind of
Isaac Hayes song.
Yeah, kind of like what Quentin Tarantino does, like with Jackie Brown.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then above
the rim, I'm gonna say this: above the rim of the modern soundtrack, for me, Above the Rim is the #1 soundtrack. Period.
Wow.
I put the Shafts, Purple Rain. I think Purple Rain is the last of that kind of group from the Shafts to all, going before that. Purple Rain caps that. But the new hip hop R&B movement, the Above the Rim album, in my opinion, absolute tip top, represents the best of what was going on at that time in rap and R&B. And it's just a banger, man, to me. I still play that.
Really? So who's on Above the Rim? Outkast is not on Above the Rim, is it?
No, it's Tupac.
Tupac, yeah, because he was
a Death Row album. So
I didn't realize it was a Death Row.
Yeah, Death Row put it out. Isn't super hits off the Warren G song. It was a gold. I mean, Afro Puffs is on this. It's countless.
Oh, countless.
To me, it's dope. And it sounds incredible.
I got it. I have it. I actually have it, but I haven't listened to it in a while. So Eric Rogers has Girl 6, which is an incredible soundtrack. For those of you who might be new, because we got to, educate the newbies. Girl 6 is all about Prince, and it's a Spike Lee film that stars Teresa Randall. Really great film. It's actually one of my it's probably my number 2 Spike Lee film after Mo Better Blues. I love Mo Better. Yeah, I love Girl 6.
I didn't like the movie when I first saw it. I wanted to love it. I love the way he used the music, though.
Yeah,
I did love that, but I don't know. I felt it was Spike was kind of like
No, I think it was because I love Teresa Randall, and I can't remember if I want to say that Sugar Hill came out before Girl 6. You know, Sugar Hill is
I think it did.
I think it did.
And she's in that one too.
Yeah, she's in that one too. So it might be because, you know, I really loved her. And then I'm blanking on the other actor in Sugar Hill. His first name is Michael. I can't remember his last name.
He played in the 5 Heartbeats.
Eddie Kane.
Yeah. That's what we call him, Eddie Kane.
Eddie Kane. I love that actor. I wish he would have gotten more roles. I think he you know, like should have been in a lot more films. He was so good in Sugar Hill. Yes, he was. All right, so we got Chef, Trouble Man, and Claudine from Michael W. And
Michael Wright is his name. Thank you.
Michael Wright.
We'll put some respect on Michael Wright's name. Yeah, absolutely. He's
yes, good. Yes. And then Christy has the Bodyguard soundtrack. Eric says he got some Willie Hutch 12 inches. That is super
really
cool.
Wow.
You got to let us know what 12 inches you got, Eric. We would love to know that. Road Comics, The Wiz, Tron Legacy, and Waiting to Exhale. Mm-hmm. Waiting to Exhale was huge as a soundtrack.
It was.
Yes.
Is it End of the Road from that? End of the Road?
I want to say yes. I think so, but Road Comics, can you confirm that? And then Kareem is asking, do you consider Sign of the Times a soundtrack? And I would go, no, I wouldn't. No. Even though, I mean, I like, if you follow me or at least used to listen to the podcast I used to do, everybody in the mama should know that when I want to listen to Sign of the Times, I don't pull out the album. I actually listen to the film. I love Sign of the Times Live. That's my favorite. And I only pull out the album if I want to listen to like Dorothy Parker and some of the other songs that weren't actually in the Sign of the Times Live film. So Real Line, we got Car Wash keeps coming up.
End of the Road was Boomerang. Sorry.
Oh, it's Boomerang. Okay. And then Foxy Brown, because Foxy Brown was also Willie Hutch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then let's see. Angela Davis was not in need of marketing, though. Oh, Dr. Claw. There is a reason why we connect, because 3 Days of the Condor is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Dave Grusin. If you haven't listened to the 3 Days of the Condor, gotta check it out. And Lensman, I don't know about Lensman. Tell me, actually, who is the musician and also who is in the movie?
Is Lensman an anime thing? I'm thinking there's some sort of anime.
Oh, is it? Is it anime? Because I haven't heard of Lensman, and I don't know my anime at all. I'm like anime illiterate. So, yes, Dr. Claw, Truck Turner is one of my favorite soundtracks. Isaac Hayes. Yeah. Okay.
That's just one of those movies that I would see like my dad or uncle had, but I never saw it, but I knew it was some tough type of black man's truck. Just the way they would talk about it. Truck Turner.
Yes.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so Melvin Rush, we got Parade, we got Malcolm X soundtrack, Shaft, Sparkle, Do the Right Thing, Purple Rain. So only music I remember from Do the Right Thing is Fight the Power. But I can't remember what else is
it's just a fantasy. Living the Guy song. That was from the
And then Celie says, I'm the crazy old man who harasses young people. Don't do that, Celie. And Walmart stopping and asking them, do you know anything by Prince other than that? Yeah. They just roll their eyes and say, move on, old man.
Come on, OG.
Boy, you know anything about Prince.
Yeah.
All right, Ricky, The Wiz, the Broadway show album with Stephanie Mills. Okay. Thank you, Real Line to DJ. Norman Whitfield produced Car Wash soundtrack. And yes, Dr. Claw, all you had to say was Marcus Miller, going back to Boomerang. Christopher, we got Above the Rim, Batman and the Bodyguard. By Batman, I'm hoping you're talking about the Prince Batman soundtrack. Can you confirm?
That's a brilliant album, man. Batman soundtrack.
It is.
Exceptionally is brilliant as well.
It is. Yes, Batman. And then let's see. Ooh, JD, my sleeper soundtracks are Deep Cover.
Deep Cover.
Lawrence Fishburne.
There's a song on the Deep Cover. I see you, Jay. Come on. I see you, Jay. Come on. That's God.
Yes, the Deep Cover is a dope film. And Crush Groove is getting a second. Also, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song soundtrack by An Unknown Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yes. And then we got some Boomerang Waiting to Excel, Regulate.
We on our soundtracks right now.
Yeah, Later Rage, Warren G, Snoop, and Dr. Dre on the Above the Rim soundtrack. And let's see. Ooh, nice, Lee. These are not my favorite, but Love Jones, the Love Jones soundtrack. Bring
I
it,
just
Lee.
bought that earlier this year on CD, just like I play in the car.
Yeah, it's really good. And I Think I Love My Wife. I don't know about I Think I Love My Wife.
That's the Chris Rock movie, I think.
Oh, okay.
There's a song, I think.
So Just Rule says Barry Gordy possibly wanted to keep Marvin in the game during the blaxploitation era. Also, rumor has it Marvin was battling drugs that season. Symbolic, he moaned much, and it was mainly instrumental. Interesting. And then Kim says can't narrow soundtrack picks, but will offer up Which Way Is Up theme song by Stargard. Hi, Natalie, my live. Oh, I knew it was something I forgot to do. So I forgot to put this in the slide deck, which I wanted to. But for those of us in New York, we were able to see the one and only Liv Warfield on Wednesday night at Cafe Wa, a legendary venue. And she was incredible. And so if Liv Warfield comes to a city near you, run, don't walk to see her live. You got to see her live. She's really doing her thing. Like her music is just like incredible. So hope everyone will support Liv Warfield out there. So it's nice to see you. And then Ricky has all three John Singleton soundtracks: Boys, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning. And yes, we don't want to sleep on the School Day soundtrack. Scorpio says it's been coming up. Myron saying Mo Better Blues 91 used to be my favorite movie. It's a great movie. Hi, D. No worries. You are here. Yes, we're really talking about our favorite movie soundtracks, but we started off talking about blaxploitation soundtracks. And yes, Mo Better makes it Mo Better. And then Love Sexy says Waiting to Exhale, Car Wash, and Love Jones. And Michael, thank you, Michael Wright. And we got to keep saying Michael Wright. So, we're just going to say Michael Wright. We're just going to keep saying his name because we need to know Michael Wright. We need to know.
Nights like this.
Oh, Kareem is coming with The Last Dragon and Beat Street.
Beat Street, King of the Beat.
And no, Vanessa, I did not know that Teresa Randall is married to Father MC.
I just have to say, Beat Street was such an important movie, at least to me when it came out. Like, it just was Beat Street and Breaking. That was my life. Like, I had my Prince, but those movies weren't just movies to me. That's what I have to say.
And Celia saying, how does it feel to be me? Eddie Kane Jr. That's right. I didn't know this. So, Dr. Claw, you're schooling. I didn't watch Oz because I didn't want to watch that kind of violence. But was he? Was he on Oz?
Oh, on Oz. Yeah, he was on Oz. When I think of Omar, I'm thinking of The Wire. But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I didn't know that. That's good to know. Let's see. We got one of all-time great diss songs. DJ Quick's Dollar Cents is on the Above the Rim soundtrack. Let's see. All right. Ray Wynn is saying, and the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack, Patti LaBelle, New Attitude, The Pointer Sisters, Neutron Dance, Glenn Fry, The Heat Is On.
That's right. Yeah.
And then again, and the road was from Boomerang. Rodney is saying New Jack City and Brown Sugar. Brown Sugar, great soundtrack.
Is that like more of a neo, what they would have called neo soul?
Yeah, what they would have called, but also hip hop, because Mos Def was in the film. So yeah. And okay, we're gonna try to get through the soundtracks and get back on track because we still, yes, Dave Gruesome is awesome. 3 Days of the Condor. And let's see. All right, Chris, that's what I'm talking about. The Prince Batman is the only Batman soundtrack that I care about. I'm with you.
What if they did a new Batman movie and they somehow incorporated the Prince?
That would be dope. I think that would be really dope. So Dr. Claw, I'm really glad that you said this. The 3 Days of the Condor is a great collection of variations on a theme. That's actually one of my favorite kinds of soundtracks or scores, or when you have variations on a theme. And that's one of the reasons why I love the Trouble Man soundtrack, because it's also variations on a theme. So I used to listen to Trouble Man heavily at the same time. Yes.
Time check.
Let's see. Did we get a time check from Kim? I haven't even gotten down that far because we got so many comments. Yes, Vanity is in Action Jackson, of course, along with Carl Weathers. And let's see.
Carl Weathers. And
then Christopher Arnell, deep cover Snoop Dogg and Dre, deep cover 187 on a FN Cop sound. Snoop Sparkle soundtrack keeps coming up again. Oh, The Firm. I think it was a slick to do a whole soundtrack with just a piano and no other instruments. And okay, I'm trying to see.
Poetic Justice.
Okay, so Eric is saying the Hoop Dream soundtrack is loaded with Minneapolis musicians, including Eric Leeds, Tony M, St. Paul, Ricky Peterson, and more. Let's see. Another great soundtrack was Roberta Flack's Bustin' Loose. Yes, Liv was on fire. Yes, Liv is absolutely fire. Eric Anderson, Miami Vice, both the TV series and the movie. Let's see. I used to know the Miami Vice guy's name. That's out of my mental Rolodex, but he was massive. Eric Anderson, can you let me know who was in charge of that soundtrack? I should know, but that escaped the Rolodex. Let's see. War Dolphin TV. Love this. Miles Davis, Elevator to the Gallows soundtrack. He recorded that in real time by watching the film. Beautiful soundtrack, Miles Davis. The Idlewild. War Dolphin TV. I love you. The Idlewild soundtrack. And if y'all don't know what the Idlewild soundtrack is, it is Outkast. Andre.
Okay.
Yeah, Big Boy. And Dexter Gordon's Round Midnight soundtrack. Very good soundtrack. The Wild Style soundtrack. Yes. And Downtown 81 soundtrack.
Wow.
Stars. Basquiat. Vincent Gallo, and some other folks. This is a really fantastic list, War Dolphin TV. Thank you so much for sharing your picks. Really do appreciate it. Expanding our palette, our musical palette.
The word Idlewild, it made me think of this other movie. And when you said Outkast, it reminded me that I was mixed up. But just wanted to throw it out there real quick. Anybody remember the movie The Inkwell?
Yes.
Maddie Rich.
It was like Jada Pinkett, right?
Yeah, it was. Was it her and O-Dog?
Yeah, O-Dog. Yes. Yeah, I'm blanking on his name right now too. Yes.
I remember that movie. I had to see that.
Oh wow! Prince Malik says my cousin was Aldolfo, who played Ozone in Beat Street.
Wow,
that is super cool. And then Dr. Claus says the Stevie song on the Last Dragon soundtrack. And then I missed Ricky's. What did Ricky say? Let's see. Okay, so Ricky said while wearing her Prince shirt, my daughter was questioned by a snarky cashier what she knew about Prince. Her reply: "I've been to Paisley Park. How about you?" That's a reply. And then let's see. Celie says to Ricky. John Singleton said that those movies are a trilogy, but I'm not sure they have a cohesive enough theme to be a trilogy. What say you? Oh, the Best Man soundtrack too. I see this. I'm finally at the time check. Let's see.
You're like way behind the comments. You know that, right?
I know.
We're about 15 minutes behind what they're talking about. In the comments.
I'm trying to. Let's see.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to show every comment now.
I'm not. Okay, here we go. Lorenz Tate. There you go. All right. So I'm going to continue reading, and we're going to get off the soundtracks. I just got the deacon just told me we're going too late. So let me finish. We're on page 101, and it says, in essence, the movie didn't have any specific music attached, so the album existed only as a concept. The actual tracks that would wind up on the album would be decided almost entirely based on what was in the film. And the film couldn't be fully fleshed out without the music. It was the classic chicken or the egg situation because the music would shape the narrative and support the story. But the music had to be compelling enough for the album to stand on its own. Magnoli says, I was able to go back to LA at the time and listen to all the music, read all the lyrics, and then based on that, when I began writing the screenplay, I was able to visualize and write the music and select the song necessary for the emotional underpinning at that moment in the script. The plan was for Magnoli to finish his current project, then come back to Minneapolis in August to interview everybody around Prince and finish writing the script based on what he absorbed. All right. So, you ready? Michael Dean, do you have you ready?
I do believe we are ready.
Do you see what I have on the where your button? Dang. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're gonna we got a whole lot of checking going on, so we're gonna skip through our list because we're running out of time because Prince didn't do nothing, and we're gonna get into our rabbit holes. So this is the moment when we already went in rabbit hole. So if you want more rabbit holes, this is the time where you leave the church. You just go out the back door because we're about to go into some rabbit holes. All right. Shake. All right. So I can't let Shake go.
I see. Who would have thought this song would have gotten so much attention?
We are going to talk about Shake. First of all, I'm going to pull out my.
She pulled out the receipts.
Yeah, I pulled out the receipts so you guys can see I got the Shake, and yeah, and there you go on the back. And so I pulled it out and I listened to it this morning, and I listened to all the mixes. But actually, if you look at this, I realized that I didn't have all the mixes on the 12-inch that I got, but so I had to pull out the CD that has all the mixes on it. So just FYI, I'm also doing this for myself because I often forget what I actually have. And for those of you who just want to kind of see, this is what it looked like in the inside with a little blurry shake. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about my listening tour this morning, which started off with Shake. So the first mix was the extended mix, and I didn't read the credits. I just listened to it first. And when I heard the song, there's a rap in the extended mix, and I was like, that's not Tony M. So then I had to look, and it says it is rapped by Demetrius Ross. And I was like, I don't know who Demetrius Ross is. So I had to go do my Googles and ended up on Discogs. And Demetrius Ross is a writer, producer, recording engineer, and remixer, as well as a recording artist. Ross was born into musical royalty and knighted Sir Jam by the New Power Generation. Some other sites I went to said he was renamed Sir Jam by Prince. So I don't know if it's New Power Generation or Prince. And Jam wrote and performed with Prince, T.C. Ellis, Sheila E., and the list goes on. And then this is the photo that was on Discogs of Sir Jam, Demetrius Ross. And then on Discogs, you can see that he did some writing and arrangement on T.C. Ellis's Miss Thing. And then, you know, what was so funny, you might get a kick out of this, Michael. You may or may not get a kick out of this. So when I saw this Miss Thing cassette single thing, I was like, who bought Miss Thing by T.C. Ellis?
You did.
I did. And so I was like, no, I didn't, but yes, I did. So
Can you hold that cover up for a second, though?
Sure. So
I mean, I gotta give him props, man. Prince always had his brother clean. You know what I'm saying? Grown. Like, yeah, what's happening?
Yes.
I love that.
And while we're here, since we got a whole group of folks, does anyone know who this is? Does anyone know who this is? Like, is this Robert Power or somebody else? Like,
they had that on the back cover. I had no idea. Hilarious. So they letting you know to get down.
Yeah.
Well, it's over here.
Yeah. So all right, and then that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to go too long. So Shake extended mix, and it's actually post-production and mixed by Levi Cecil Jr., edited and mixed by David Friedlander, additional voices by Demetrius Ross and Renee Reeves. And then Shake, the battle mix, had the same post-production by the folks I just mentioned, including Levi. And then Shake, the funky house mix, 3 asterisks, was post-production and mixed by none other than the great Junior Vasquez. And I never liked any of his mixes. So I had to say the great Junior Vasquez, because I know there's somebody out there in the chat who's going to be saying Junior Vasquez is one of the best, probably the best remixer that has ever lived. I never liked Junior Vasquez's mix of any Prince related or Prince song. I'm sorry, but I didn't like it. Didn't like the funky house mix again. When I listened to it this morning, let me see what notes I wrote about that, because I can't remember what it sounds like. I had to write some notes. Oh, it starts off with a flanger, which that's all. Oh, the one thing that I in terms of the battle mix, which I thought was really great, is that they had this little sample of Richard Pryor saying "Get out of my face," and it also comes up again in the funky house mix. And then we get to the latest fashion remix, which I really want to play for you, but I can't because I don't want to stop the stream and get all the copyright stuff and all that. Oh, so Prince Malik says, I heard it was the woman from The Way You Make Me Feel video, D'Angelo, but I honestly don't know. And then Celia saying, I'm with you on Junior Vasquez. I hate any and all those house mixes.
And I must throw another name. I don't care. The Shep Pettibone.
No. I had a problem with my internet connection. Man Ray says that Lady on the TCL single was on the video for Miss Thing. I didn't even know there was a video for Miss Thing. And then says seeing TCL has performed that song Miss Thing live at Glam Slam back in 1991. That is super cool. Love Sexy. Let's see. Yes, Ricky. I do have good question. Because I'm a record collector. That's what I am. Let's see.
One of those guys reached out to me not too long ago.
Really? Good question, people?
Yeah.
And then Real Line says, could Demetrius be the same rapper on the Emancipation song Da Da Da? Does anybody know that?
Good question.
That's a good. Look at you. Putting it all together. And then Eric Rogers says the video for Miss Thing is very similar to Bobby Brown videos of him dancing around large letters.
Exactly. Shep Pettibone.
All of them. Oh, except for Steve Hurley. There's a Steve Hurley remix that he did of a Prince song that I actually like, but I can't remember which one it was. Okay, so going back to the latest fashion remix. First of all, because you can't Google it, at least, I mean, you would have to have this to know what it sounds like. But for those of you who don't have it, it actually incorporates samples of Prince's Sexy Dancer. If you know latest fashion song, it has that Go Morris, Go Morris, Go Morris. And for me, despite like the keyboard bass, you can't help but move to the remix because it's such a great song. I think the merit of a good song is no matter what's done to it, it still shines through, and the latest fashion still rocks. And also, what I thought was interesting is that they mentioned Murph drag as a dance. There's a little bit of the bird in it. What kind of like, I don't know, just made me chuckle is that, and actually made me start wanting to listen to James Brown, was at the end of the latest fashion remix, even on like a remix, Prince incorporates some JB hits, like the one. And so then I was like, I gotta listen to James Brown. So talking about the latest fashion remix, going back here to the credits, performed by The Time with Prince, produced and arranged by Prince and The Time, composed by Prince. Okay, here we go, the remix. Remixed by Prince, Michael Kaufman, and Sylvia Massey at Larrabee Sound. Crowd noise by Jerome Benton, Robin Power, Tom Garneau, and Michael Kaufman. Saxophone by Candy Dulfer. Published by Controversy Music, administered by Warner Brother Music Corp. ASCAP. Candy Dulfer appears courtesy BMG, Areola, Benelux, BV. All right. So, yes, thank you, Eric. Eric has it in there. You can watch it later. Thank you for putting that link in there. Okay, and so we're gonna go to the next, the Shake Boom mix. Now, I had deja vu when I listened to this, because when I listened to it, I remember, oh, this was the song where I actually pulled this out. I pulled it out for the Boom mix. The reason why we pulled it out for the Boom mix is because it had Claire Fisher sample in a couple spots. So anything Claire Fisher, I'm gonna bring out because I just love the string arrangements. And the Boom mix is again Levi Caesar doing the post-production and mix. And on the Boom mix, there's a lot of snippets from the Graffiti Bridge film. And one of my favorite snippets from the Graffiti Bridge film in the song is "What is your main problem?" I don't know if you guys remember that line from Graffiti Bridge. It's one of my favorites. Also, I heard a little Tony M in there, just a little bit. But another thing that surprised me is that Levi, because Levi talks in it, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Claire Fisher." That's like Levi. And another thing that Levi says several times is, "You got to shake something" in this Boom mix, which everyone should know what you got to shake something. It's another song from the Flesh and all that. And then there's a lot of "Ain't Nobody Funky Like Me" that just made me want to listen to more James Brown. And then let's see. Yeah. So I'm trying to do my time check for
Wake up.
For Kim. So when I did a rabbit dive, so I actually have the 12-inch on the right, but when I was looking at Discogs, I didn't realize that there's actually another promo. So the vinyl that I showed you, this is a promo copy of the single, but then there's another promo copy that just has a song Shake. And I'm doing this for all the collectors out there, in case you guys are like, why are you talking about this? Because I am first and foremost a record collector. That's what I am. I am not a completist, but if you haven't noticed, I collect a lot of records. But some of you are completists. So I'm doing this for the completists out there. Those of you who actually
respect that.
I don't need the edits, but some of you guys want the edits too. All right. So in addition to that, there's also a promotional CD that I have never seen of Shake. Yes.
They're serious about this.
Yeah, they're serious. Yes. Eric understands. Collector. Yes. That's Michael Dean. Prince Malik. Michael Dean has that Shake button. And Michael Dean, there was a single. I don't even know.
I had this. That's just what I had.
Yep. And so this is the cover of the single. Being a designer, what irked me was that they didn't know how to hold down the shift key when you resize, and they squished Park's illustration to make it fit on the cover. That is like blasphemous as a designer. You don't do that, but they did. And then for all you cassette heads out there, you can get you a Shake cassette. Yeah. All right. Now, for all of you who think that I hate Arms of Orion, let's talk about it. Because yes, I do. But
Just clearing up all the talk. I'm going in today.
I'm going in today. So, bam, I got this Arms of Orion, the 12-inch.
Wow.
I got this Arms of Orion picture disc.
Oh,
Yes. And we ain't finished yet. I got this darn
interesting.
CD that comes out 3, and then you got the little, whoops, let me see if I can. Hold on 1 second. I have to get it out. This little guy, the little 3, because on Twitter there was a thread where people were talking about like the 3-inch like CD singles. I got these. So I know some of you guys hate that I hate on Arms of Orion, but guess what? I bought it anyway. And I bought 3 different versions of it. So that shows you I love Arms of Orion. Nah. All right. So,
do you listen to it though?
I listened to it this morning and house didn't change.
All right.
I only listened to the edit. I couldn't bring myself to listen to the full version. The edit is like what, 3 minutes and something versus the, let me pull it out here. So the edit is almost 4 minutes. So I almost listened to 4 minutes of Arms of Orion out there. So speaking of live shows, so we talked about Live on Wednesday. And then last night we went to go see Law, who performed at the Bitter End. And they did like they had an amazing set. They had an amazing set. And someone who was there, Oshun, told me that on that morning he had listened to Arms of Orion. And I was like, all right, the Arms of Orion, Arms of Orion posse is out there. They are. Yes. Yes, Natalie, I do not care for Arms of Orion, but I'm showing love to all the Arms of Orion people out there because they out there strong, too strong. All right. And Prince Malik, I even have the 3-inch For You album for Japan. Damn, I didn't even know there was it's a little 3-inch CD of the For You album. That's so Prince Malik, that lets me know you are a collector. Yes, D, triplicate shade. So not shade, but the point I'm trying to make, actually by showing you all that stuff, I can hate on a Prince song all day long. I'm still gonna buy it. I'm still gonna buy it. So because I love Prince and I always supported Prince, I always collected Prince. So yeah. All right. So what's next on our all right, this is what I've been like psyched for. This is why like my energy is like off the chain right now. And I got to actually talk to Michael Dean and Celie because 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was out of town for my cousin's graduation, they were holding it down. And I was like, y'all let the whole episode go and y'all didn't talk about body heat. Like, how is that possible? How is that possible? So we're going to talk about body heat. All right. Body Heat is from a 1976 James Brown album on Polydor Records. There you go. That is the cover. And I remembered that Questlove had talked about the importance of body heat because some of you guys are going like, why are we talking about James Brown? This is what did Prince do this week. So we're going to connect it for you so you can forever be broke. All right. So Questlove remembers Prince in this life. You're on your own. This was released in rollingstone.com, April 25th, 2016, obviously a couple days after Prince's passing. And this is what Questlove had to say. Think about James Brown. Prince certainly did. I'm going to read that one more time. Think about James Brown. Prince certainly did, as did every funk and soul artist of his generation. But Prince was brilliantly perverse in the way he absorbed James Brown. If James Brown was about a tight crack snare and percussive horns as an extended rhythmic arm, Prince went the opposite direction. He made undeniable funk from a dud of a dead snare sound and the artificial horns of the Oberheim synthesizer. James Brown's magic streak ran between 1965 and 1975. Remember, Body Heat is 1976. Anyone who was anybody in Black music for the next 30 years borrowed from that period the most. Michael Jackson borrowed dance moves, rappers borrowed samples, but Prince, perhaps James's truest heir, looked to the period after that when James was thought to be in decline. In sound checks, Prince would make his band play Body Heat, a 1976 hit for Brown, and he would make them play it endlessly. They lock into the groove and stay there. It was like Prince was using the Revolution as a sampler, and he looped that groove so that he could play along with it and eventually play around with it. And It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night from Sound of Times in 1987 is a brilliant reworking of Brown's Gravity from 1986. I listened to Gravity. I didn't get that. Anybody else listen to Gravity? Or maybe for a homework assignment, listen to James Brown's Gravity from 1986 and tell me if you get It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night from it, because I didn't. Who else was really listening to James Brown at that point, let alone listening sharply enough to put it through the replicator and remake it on the spot? So
that's interesting comments from Questlove, considering the comments that he says about Prince's later music.
Yeah. And Michael Parks.
I have the appreciation for James's later stuff. Though some people say it isn't that good, but same way some people say about Prince. Like, you should have appreciation for the later stuff. Question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prince Malik, for letting me know, because I get a lot of friend requests, and unfortunately I don't, because I'm not on Facebook that much. I'm only on Facebook for What Did Prince Do This Week at this point, and to promote some of the symposium stuff. So Ray, when you say you listen to James Brown Gravity, so do you get It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night from Gravity? Because I didn't hear it personally. And Friday Music says, I like how Questlove said Prince was James Brown's truest heir. I also love that as well. And let's see. All right. So this is why I'm pumped up today. This morning, I was looking at James Brown's Monterey, California, 1979 performance, 60 minutes of it. And he does a live version of Body Heat. So I want to remind everyone, and also if you're new, if you go to the website where you can find the schedule, so if you want to keep up with the reading, but also on the website, I have the slide deck, the weekly slide deck, and a lot of the images have links to them. So if you go to this link and you click on the image, it'll take you right to this clip. And I have it queued where it actually starts Body Heat. And Body Heat is actually the second song on this performance. And I love, like, in the middle of the song, which is also in the original song, but in this live version, he does like a vamp for Let's Go to Church, which is a little different from the way that he does it on the album. And what's up, Jason? Jason Orr's in the house. It's so great to have you here. One of my favorite folks on the face of the earth. And Jason says, don't forget Prince would throw Living in America to his rehearsal jams. He loved all JB. That is correct. And Cal says, actually Living in America is on that record with Stevie Ray Vaughan on that song as well. Yes, Melvin, please do research this and report back next week if you hear that, because I don't hear it. And let's see. So going back to this version of Body Heat, and also the reason why I have this particular screenshot, so you can see the drums in the back. As soon as I saw those drums in the back, I don't know about you, I thought about Sheila E. and the Sound of Times Live, and like just the blue drums. So I got that from this as well. So a lot of connections. And then also there is a guitar lick. I don't know if it's in this live version of Body Heat, but it sounds like something that Prince used all the time. And so let's see. was trying to see if I missed anything. I was going to say something, but I forgot my train of thought. Body Heat, Prince, but it'll come back because we're going to continue to talk about Body Heat. So, I know what I wanted to say. So I actually listened to Prince's Body Heat before I heard James Brown's Body Heat. And you know that part in Prince's Body Heat, that dun, 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 dun. It's not like that in James Brown's version. So like when I listen to James Brown version, I listen to Prince's version so many times, I'd be going like, why are they not playing it right? Why is that James Brown's band not playing it right when Prince's band wasn't playing it right? So I'm curious, like, if that's something that Prince did, or if that's something that Dr. Fink did, like, how did that variation of that keyboard line happen? It's very fascinating to me. So, yes. All right. So let me go to looking at the time. I'm doing pretty good, actually. We're doing pretty good, Michael Dean. We're at 1:30. Time check.
Okay.
Let's see. And then Eric Rogers says, JB Gravity is definitely a good mix with A Beautiful Night. Like, wow, never heard it before. Now can't unhear it. Okay. Well, maybe I'll put them back to
I'm gonna
back.
listen to it after we get off.
Yeah, I'll put it back to back and see if I hear it. But I just listened to Gravity on its own and I just couldn't hear it. But I'm going to do that. All right. So it's really important to, so we've been talking a lot to the newbies, and it's really important if you don't have one of the best box sets of all time, James Brown, Star Time. It's one of my favorite box sets, and what's really great about it is that it comes with this booklet with a lot of information in it. And I actually want to read who's on Body Heat, because we want to give, say their names. I think it's really important. And another thing about this is that there are several essays in this, and one is by Alan Leeds. And for those of you, again, we have to talk to the newbies, Michael Dean says, that, Alan Leeds was actually James Brown's road manager, and he would also become Prince's road manager, as well as become like president of Paisley Park and all that kind of stuff like that. So that's the tie. For those of you who are like, why are we talking about James Brown? Why are we talking about Alan Leeds?
And he's Eric Leeds' brother.
And Eric Leeds' brother, which we've been playing at the beginning of all of these What Did Prince Do This Week, for the most part. So in the box set, what's really disappointing to me, they only have Body Heat Part 1. And Part 1 is only 4 minutes and 29 seconds. The original, I think, is like 9 minutes. And then there's another version out there that's 11 minutes and something, like an alternate mix. Okay, so Body Heat was written by D. Jenkins, D. Brown, Y. Brown. One of them I know was his wife at the time, but I can't remember. So James Brown, lead vocal with the JBs. So these are the JBs on this version of Body Heat. Russell Crimes was the trumpet, Holly Ferris on trombone, Joe Poff on alto saxophone, St. Clair Pickney, tenor saxophone, Peyton Johnson, tenor saxophone, and one of the most revered guitarists of all time, Jimmy Nolan, and Charles Sherrill on clavinet, Melvin Parker on drums, Johnny Griggs on percussion, Martha Harvin on vocals, produced by James Brown, recorded September 1976 at International Studios, Augusta, Georgia. So we got the real funk in Georgia. Released December 1976, Polydor single. So that is Start Time. Yes, Alan Leeds was the man who wrote the liner notes for Prince the hits as well. Yes, yes. And how about Eric Leeds Alan Leeds being D'Angelo's road manager. Alan Leeds, Eric's brother. Yes. Kyle Christian, that box set is unbelievable. So if you're a record collector like I am, and if you're into music, if you're a music head, Your life is not complete. You have not lived unless you have listened to the Star Time box set. And I'm actually guilty of not having all of James Brown's albums because Prince takes all my money. And I have to like, there can only be one when it comes to collecting in terms of doing deep dives. But if I ever stopped collecting Prince, I would have to choose either between James Brown or the whole P-Funk dynasty. Both of them are like music upon like albums, offshoots. You know, it would just like, it would take another lifetime that I don't have. But maybe we have some like JB collectors out there because I would love to hear from you. All right, so we talked about Star Time box set. This incarnation of the box set is out of print, but I'm sure you can find a copy of it on Discogs. But on Amazon, you can get the reissue, which came out in the 2000s. This came out originally in 1991. I actually got it in real time. I remember listening to this at Georgia Tech. It was actually what I played a lot. So it's, again, one of my favorites. And the reissue is just like a square. It's not this rectangle. So you can still get the rectangle if you want it. All right. And then recommended further reading. This is actually from the Star Time box set. I'm not going to read through this because, like I said, you can find this on the book club website. But the reason why I'm actually pointing this out is in this booklet, it says coming soon, Alan Leeds complete James Brown discography, publisher TBD. He has never released this. I really actually would love to have a complete James Brown discography because there were so many like offshoot, like Lynn Collins, the JBs, like the same like with the P-Funk universe. Oh my God, just like Parliament, Funkadelic, you know, Parlet, you know, like just it just goes on and on and on and on. So I wish Alan Leeds would actually complete this James Brown discography. I don't know complete if he's ever going to do it, but what he did do was back in 2020, Alan Leeds did release a book called There Was a Time, James Brown, The Chitlet Circuit, and Me by Alan Leeds. So if you haven't, you need to do that right now. I'm so happy, Just Rules, that you're pulling out your booklet right now. Oh, because one thing I forgot to say in terms of the Star Time, in addition to the Alan Leeds, there's an essay by Alan Leeds in this. There's also an essay by Nelson George in this as well. So this is a really good read. So highly recommend it. And then again, we were talking about Alan Leeds' book. You should definitely read it because he's very knowledgeable about James Brown. And then I think Just Rules, you mentioned this earlier. Originally, Mr. Dynamite, which is a documentary about James Brown. Actually, Alan Leeds and Questlove are two of the people who do the audio commentary for the documentary. So, and you can only hear the audio commentary if you get the DVD or the Blu-ray. But originally, HBO released Mr. Dynamite as one of the best documentaries ever. And then you can actually watch it. If you have Prime Video, you can watch it right now when we get off of this. Highly recommend it. It's free on Prime Video. Or if you want to get the audio commentary by Alan Leeds and Questlove, you have to get the DVD or the Blu-ray. Highly recommend it. We've been talking a lot about music documentaries on What Did Prince Do This Week? And we definitely cannot leave out Mr. Dynamite. And then Just Rule says on page 25 of the Star Time booklet, it says the Stones can't stop talking about King James. And yes, Melvin, you got to get the Alan Leeds book. Highly recommend it. He knows his James Brown. What I want to do with the quickness is actually, let me see how I'll do this. Share this tab instead. So this is my YouTube channel, and all the way at the bottom, I moved the accompanying playlists. So again, you go here, just scroll all the way to the bottom. You can get to the accompanying playlist. And I actually want to look at this. I want to play Body Heat so bad, but I'm not going to start because then we would be here like another hour or whatnot. So you can see I have Body Heat, and you can see the alternate mix, which is 11:54. And then if you just want to see it live, or you can see the whole show. And there's some snippets of Prince rehearsing on YouTube. But the one thing I really wanted to show is like how he would often rehearse Body Heat with My Summertime Thing. And then we were talking about the latest fashion, which the Summertime Thing and latest fashion are pretty much the same song in my particular opinion. And then this is My Summertime Thing from Corporate World, which we talked about last week. We're bringing it all together. And then I found this guy does a piano tutorial of the Times My Summertime Thing. For those of you who are into your piano or your keyboard and you want to get a breakdown of the My Summertime Thing, you can do so from Carlos Music with a K. And then I also have an incredible version of Summertime Thing with Questlove and D'Angelo at Bonnaroo with none other than Jesse Johnson and Eric Leeds, because we're all about Eric Leeds here. And then if you need to listen to that wonderful song that we listened to earlier at the top of the 2 hours, you can listen to Eric Leeds, Aguadilla. And then the song I could not play because it was 7 minutes and 20 seconds of very slow, very down, Once Upon a Time. So you might want to listen to these stuff. So don't sleep on the accompanying playlist. And let's see. Next week, we're at the end of our show, 141. We're not finished yet, but I'm so happy that we're not going to go over our 2 hours. And next week, we are going to be reading pages 101 to 104. And we're going to be reading Tuesday, July 12th through July 16th, which is Saturday of 1983. So that's your homework for the week. Got to, pull out your book and read. So let's see what's in the chat, and then we're going to take it home. Oh, so my YouTube channel is, let me see if I got a banner for that. I don't have it, but it's basically Polished Solid. All of my social media is Polished Solid. So even though this says on Twitter, it's also that on YouTube as well. And if you go back to the beginning of the show, when I go through the housekeeping, it actually has the link to Michael Dean's YouTube channel as well as my YouTube channel. We post them on both. So if you're subscribed to Michael, you can go there on his channel, or if you subscribe to mine, you can watch it from there. And let's see. Eric Rogers, the Collector Shake has 2 promo CDs, one with album version, then another with 4 mixes. I love it, Eric. You're keeping Shake alive.
With no dough.
And then Celie, for the newbies, Nelson George is a great music journalist who also pissed off Prince and became the George in the song Bob George, because he said that Prince was no longer funky, but a great writer. And Melvin, Mr. Dynamite, JB Doc needs that in my life. Yes, you do. And yes, Just Rules, Mr. Dynamite is one of the best thus far. James Brown. Bobby Bird is known now because Bobby Bird is all over Mr. Dynamite. And happy belated birthday, Melvin. 7/7 was Melvin's birthday.
Happy birthday, Melvin.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
All right. So I finally came down. I'm kind of like my normal level now.
Yeah.
So that just means I need to go and listen to some more James Brown to get back up. So
yes, before every show, you're gonna have to watch me from James. Are you ready?
No, we don't want Kiki to come out too many times.
Hilarious.
So hopefully you guys will join us next week for week 28 of What Did Prince Do This Week? And yes, I shook it all out. And I do think that we have shaken the shake.
Yeah,
I think we're done.
We're shook.
We're shook. Yeah, I think we are. I think we have. So, all right. everybody enjoy themselves. I'm going to go see Erykah Badu tonight. So I'm super excited about that at Madison Square Garden. Hopefully it will be a great show. I've never seen her at the Garden. So yes, DD. Yeah, instead of Kiki, I'm DD. Yeah. So, okay. May you live to see the dawn.
See you next time. Peace.